some of the most horrible treatment I hear about of dogs is in service dog groups. You have no business knowing if your dog can hold their bladder for 36 hours. Well, how much time do they need out of their crate? You're not allowed to like snuggle your dog and bond with your dog. If your dog is working and the only time they get out of their crate is to go to the bathroom and to do a job for you, that's kind of bullshit. Hey guys, so today I want to talk to y'all about treating your service dog with respect and just like ethically, I guess. I feel like some of the most horrible treatment I hear about of dogs is in service dog groups. And I don't know why that is. It's really upsetting though, because like mistreatment of animals is never okay, right? But especially if you think about the fact that service dogs are, you know, they're keeping somebody alive. Like that is their job. They're a medical, and I always hate the way this is worded, but they are medical equipment. Like they have a big job to do. They're helping somebody live a more complete life. And whenever I just see all of the mistreatment stuff in service dog groups, it's extremely upsetting. I don't know. It's upsetting to me to see all of that. And I just feel like maybe if I talk about some things that should maybe be normal that we should be doing with our dogs, like maybe that'll help. I don't know. So anyways, first thing that I've seen a lot of is people saying that they don't give their service dogs bathroom breaks. One of the most extreme cases is somebody left their service dog in their crate for like 36 hours. They were trying to train them to like hold their bladder or something, and this was something a trainer had told them to do, I guess. I'm not sure. But y'all don't do that. Please don't do that. Just don't do that. That is such a horrible idea. Even if your dog is capable of holding their bladder for that long, like you don't need to know that. Like you have no business knowing if your dog can hold their bladder for 36 hours. That is completely wrong. Like I cannot imagine how much pain that would cause. Like I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of the first thing, is letting your dog, whether it's a service dog or a pet dog, it doesn't matter, but letting them have bathroom breaks like frequently enough. And I'm not saying they need to go outside like every hour on the hour if they're an adult dog. What I used to do before my dog had buttons is if I needed to go to the bathroom, then I kind of assumed they needed to go, unless it was something like in the morning when I'm drinking a lot of coffee and I'm just, you know, doing that and they haven't had anything to eat or drink yet and they're just laying there. Then in that case, then maybe I don't take them as much. But typically throughout the day, I just kind of feel like if I need a bathroom break, they kind of do too. Also, you should know your dog's body. Like you should kind of know after you've had your dog for a little while, like on a good day, like how often they are going. Like what times do they like to poop? What times do they like to pee? Do they typically pee like right after they drink? Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like you should just know your dog. And you should try to do that. I totally understand that sometimes we have to hold it, and sometimes, you know, even as adult human beings, sometimes we have to hold it and we can't go to the bathroom immediately, and that is just a thing that happens. But overall, you need to take them to the bathroom, you know, like I would say every 4 hours at least, and give them a chance. And I know somebody's gonna say, well, I go to school or I work or whatever, and I can't do that. Okay, if it's your service dog, then that's a reasonable accommodation for you to get to go take your dog out to the bathroom. Your medical equipment is alive, so obviously they are gonna need to go to the bathroom, and arranging for that every, 4 hours, that is a reasonable accommodation. And the other thing, if you're a person who works and your dog isn't with you all the time, consider hiring a dog walker to come maybe like halfway through the day and just take them out for a minute. It just really bothers me whenever it's the norm that dogs are holding it like 12 hours a day. And I know that's just kind of like a basic thing that a lot of dogs are expected to do, but it's really not right. The other thing that I see a lot with service dogs is people ask, well, how much time do they need out of their crate when they're not working? This is something that I just cannot wrap my mind around either. Like, Fairby has not gone in a crate since she was... Actually, the last time she ever got locked in a crate is whenever we were moving here. So she was maybe 8 months old, I guess. So she went in a crate then, and that was because we had the doors opening and closing, like moving, you know what I mean? So that was the last time. But Fairby doesn't get locked in a crate ever. I know that there are some dogs who do sleep in a crate at night or whatever, and that's your business. But if your dog is working and the only time they get out of their crate is to go to the bathroom and to do a job for you, that's kind of bullshit. So you really need to take them to do other stuff. You need to let them be part of the family. Like, they're still a dog at the end of the day. Dogs crave companionship with their family. And we are their family. If you put them in a crate whenever you get home from them working, that's just not right. If that's your idea of having a service dog, then you need something else. Service dogs are not a toy you can just put up on the shelf whenever you're not needing them. Like, they still are alive and they still deserve to have, you know, like, activities to do, and I can't breathe. It's just important that they're treated with respect and able to go out and do stuff and even just be a normal dog. And sometimes that might just be laying on the couch or laying on the floor in the house, like not in a crate, you know what I mean? They're dogs. Like, I don't know. I'm always surprised too at the people who are service dog handlers and they think that you're not allowed to like snuggle your dog and bond with your dog. I don't know why that's a thing in the service dog community either. Like, yeah, you need to love your dog and treat them like they're a family member and important, and like build a special relationship with them. Absolutely. Just making sure that they have more than just work. I know that they have to be on duty and they have to take care of us. They still should be allowed to do stuff. So you need to either have a support human, or either on good health days, let them do dog stuff. And if you don't necessarily have great health days, then maybe just build stuff into your daily routine that you can do.
I'm editing this right now and I just realized I didn't even mention that my service dog training planners have a ton of activity ideas, enrichment ideas, and things like that. So I'll be sure to list those for y'all below.
So this can be things like puzzle, that sniffy game that we do a lot, stuff like that. That's really low impact for a human. If you're, you know, obviously if you're disabled, you may not have a lot of energy to go do stuff, and it may be hard for you to get out and go do things. So just finding creative ways to keep your dog entertained at home and not make it just like only work. You know what I mean? Because this is their life. I know they're benefiting us in our life, and that's great, but this is their whole life. Like, what we provide for them and what we let them do, that's it. So if you're taking them to go work and then they're getting put in a crate whenever they get home, that's a little bit unfair. And also, like, the people who don't, y'all, take your dog to the bathroom. What are you thinking? Take your dog to the bathroom. That's like a basic necessity. The other thing too, another basic necessity is just like good quality food. And just, you know, I understand you have to work within your budget. Potty? Yeah, we can go potty. I know you have to work within your budget, but you can work in some fresh stuff like fresh vegetables and things like that too. Even if you are on a mainly kibble diet, you can also rehydrate your kibble, which, you know, that's still, I'm gonna say this, even if the only thing you can do, if you can only afford like the cheapest dog food, if you can just rehydrate it a little bit and also add in, oh my gosh, she said help, yes. I'm on my way. After I'm like talking about taking your dog to the bathroom, here I go. Anyways, I am taking her, I promise. I was trying to finish my sentence. It's just been what, like maybe 20 seconds.
So even if the only thing you're doing is rehydrating their food and adding a little bit of fresh vegetables to it, that's still better than nothing. And rehydrating their food doesn't cost you anything at all.
So making sure that they have proper nutrition and stuff, of course, obviously giving them fresh water every day. That's another thing too. I've actually seen in service dog groups, people saying, well, how often do you change your dog's water? Give them, like, pick their bowl up every single day and actually physically wash it, like with soap and water and a sponge, and dry it off completely, and then put fresh water in it. Also, use filtered water if you can. I'll say this, if you drink filtered water and you don't just drink out of the tap, you need to do the same for your dog. Because if it's so bad that you are afraid to drink it, then same goes for your dog. And also, if you have, if your dog has the red, like eye booger stuff, a lot of times filtered water will make that go away. Also, usually higher quality food, like as long as your food doesn't have dye in it, then that's a big thing too. But just making sure that they have a chance to have fun and do dog stuff. And dog stuff is gonna be different depending on who you are. You know, a lot of people would say, well, Fairby doesn't get to do dog stuff because she's not running loose in a field all the time. And I'm sure she would love that, but that's not something that's really a thing that I can provide. But what I can provide is other forms of enrichment, like we get to go out on a walk on a leash and she gets to sniff. We get to do games, she gets to do puzzles. So all that is stuff that gets her mind working. Obviously trick training, that's a good thing. That's something you can do too with your service dog, just to build your bond, is trick training and stuff. Also, setting your service dog up for success, that's another really big thing that I think goes a long way. and I don't see talked about a lot. I see people a lot of times really push their dog into situations that the dog is not comfortable with yet, that maybe if they would have waited another month or two, then maybe it would have gone okay. But because they pushed a little too soon, then maybe the dog reacted and had a bad experience. So another thing that's really important with treating your service dog ethically is making sure that they are well groomed and well cared for. So I think this is something we all know as service dog handlers. We have to keep our service dogs presentable for the public, right? But this goes beyond just their physical appearance. Like, we also need to be caring for their skin, their teeth, their nails, and all of that stuff in between trips out. So if you don't go places a lot, you still need to brush your dog every day and take care of their teeth and take care of their nails and stuff, not only on outing days. I'm a big fan of positive reinforcement training, and I feel like that is something that I don't see a lot in the service dog community. But my take is just use as much positive reinforcement as possible. I am a treat pusher. I bring treats with us everywhere we go, and I try my very best to treat therapy throughout the store just for good behavior. Sometimes I do forget, but I always have treats with me. And I just feel like it kind of is her pay, right? Like, we have super special treats that she only gets whenever we go out for working. And that is anything from, she really likes freeze-dried chicken breast, freeze-dried buffalo lungs. She also sometimes gets hot dog pieces. It just depends on where we're going. But I try to reserve those super high value treats for working days. And that way, it kind of, honestly, it sets, she's laying right here. It kind of sets her up to have her best behavior because she knows that there's something really good. We use that for training sometimes too, honestly, but typically I try to save those really high value treats for, outings and doing service dog stuff. But I think that does help. But also that goes back to the R+ thing, because if you have something really high value that they like, then that is the reward, and it's a high value reward, and there's no need for any punishment because she's going to do what she's supposed to do for the reward. Your service dog's mental health matters a lot. And so this kind of goes back to what I was saying about they need time to be a dog too, and not just, working and then to a crate whenever they get home, or to like a designated area to be alone. Their mental health depends on how we treat them and like the things that we allow them to do. So I think I'd already mentioned enrichment, like toys, puzzles, playing games, learning tricks, just spending time with you in general. That's all stuff that's gonna just enrich their life, but it's also gonna be mental stimulation for them too, particularly things like puzzles and learning things. That's gonna be a lot of stimulation. So that's gonna help them to have a better mindset and just a better, boost morale, if you will. Also, of course, spending time with you and your family, getting loves, pets, brushed, all of that good stuff, if they like to be brushed anyway. All of that is really good ways of bonding. It also can boost their mental health as well, and yours too, really, because it's a stress reliever to pet dogs. Respecting their boundaries. That's another thing we don't really talk about, because they're working for us, right? So we can monopolize their time. And I feel like this is the truth for a lot of people, but it should not be. Your dog should be able to opt in and out of working. If your dog doesn't feel like working, then you should have a backup plan, because it is their life, and like that is, they may have days that they don't feel like doing stuff. So they should be allowed to opt in and out. I understand that not everyone is in a position to where you can say, okay, you want to opt out today? Well, I don't need you today. But I do think if you notice that they're not wanting to work, and this is a thing that's happening, more and more frequently, number one, have them checked out by a vet. But the other thing, if you notice that they're really not wanting to, as quickly as possible, find either a replacement dog, and I'm not saying rehome your current dog, but I'm saying find something else to help you. Find a person to go with you. See if you can maybe do something different with your medical treatment plan for a little while to where you'll need them less, because burnout is a real thing for dogs too. And if you're bringing them out and they don't want to be out, then there's a really good chance they're not going to do their job as well as, what they could, right? So they might miss an alert or something if they don't want to be there in the first place. I feel like we need to treat them ethically in that way, but also like think about it from your own health perspective. If your dog doesn't want to go and you're like, well, you have to go work today, they may not want to do their job. There may be something also internally going on to where maybe they're in pain and you don't know it, or maybe something's going on and they just don't feel well for some reason, you don't know about it. So definitely, if you notice that they're not wanting to work, a vet trip would be a really good idea. And also, like I said, if you notice this becoming frequent, even if they're really young, then definitely look for a way to not use them anymore, because once again, it's their life, and if they're not having fun, then they shouldn't be forced to do it. It doesn't matter. What makes a good service dog is that they want to work. It's not that you can't train a dog who doesn't want to work, but what makes it work is because they have that desire. Like, they want to do that. They want to be there. They want to help you. Like, they have the desire to go and to do stuff, and they know they have a big job. So if they don't want to do that, I mean, I guess you could force them technically, but there's a really good chance they're not going to do the actual job that you need them to do, and they're just going to be there and you're going to be babysitting. So definitely keep that in mind. And I think we kind of covered this with food, but also making sure that they're properly hydrated. So along with rehydrating their food, if they're eating anything dry, also just making sure they have access to fresh, clean water and actually are drinking it. So that's something that's really important. And remembering to bring that with us whenever we are gone as service dog handlers. Like, always remembering that we need to bring a bottle of water and a bowl for them to use, and also some type of food for them if we're going to be gone for an extended period of time when they would normally need to eat. So I hope this was super helpful for you. I hope you learned some things. I hope you treat your dogs really good. Leave a comment below and let me know if there's anything else that I missed about treating service dogs ethically. I feel like I hit everything, I hope. Anyways, thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you soon. Bye.